ask me. Can I ask you a question?
No, I saw your video done right here where an old guy said, what is it, 50?
Wait, yeah, now you have to answer.
Horrible. No.
It was horrible. So he knows me and he thinks it's horrible. Brilliant.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 650.
Oh, you're joking, right?
No.
You're joking.
Yours is not 4. Come on.
Fun fact of the day, did you know that cheating affects men more than it does women? That's right, men experience more emotional pain when a relationship turns sour than women do. I can already hear feminists. It's because of their ego? No, it's actually because they rely on their partner for emotional support and intimacy. Same study noted that women tend to get over relationships a lot quicker than men, whereas men never really get over it. Because social norms discourage men from talking about their feelings, they never open up, they bottle it up inside, and they suffer silently. I've been back on this app for literally 2 days, and all I've seen is women just mocking men, making fun of them, and the theme of the day seems to be men with cheating trauma. Y'all should just get no dick. Thank you.
So I told a man today that I was looking for a relationship and really serious about it. Really wanted a family, all the things. And then he said I come off desperate. So I'll be overthinking that for the next 3 to 5 business days.
I got ghosted by a girl because I said I didn't like the idea of a stay-at-home wife. Not even a stay-at-home mom. If I have enough money to do that, I'll do that, right? But you mean to tell me that I'm wrong for wanting my future partner to achieve things and not just have their whole life boil down to staying at home and being taken care of by a man?
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong at all. That's your preference and that's okay. What I don't understand is why are most of the women in his comment section trying to insult him? Y'all have been saying the same thing he just said. Y'all say, I don't want to be a stay-at-home wife. I want to be independent. And he's agreeing with y'all. He's saying, I prefer a wife who goes out and do something for herself. He even said, if I had the money, I would make her a stay-at-home mom. Do you even know why you're trying to insult him? Because y'all can't be this stupid to not realize that he's literally saying the same thing y'all have been saying. Stupid women.
What's going on, fellas? Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below. Let's get back to the video.
I'll tell you exactly why the older guy who doesn't chase always ends up winning. Because every younger guy she's talked to has done the same thing. Over-texting, over-complimenting, showing up too eager, making her the center of everything before she's earned it. So when an older guy shows up and doesn't do any of that, her brain short circuits. He's interested, but he's not performing. He texts, but he doesn't need a response in 5 minutes. He plans something, but doesn't ask if she liked it afterward. He's just present without being desperate. And here's the part that really gets her. He has a life she actually wants to be part of. He's not building one around her, he already has one. She's being invited in, not recruited. That dynamic makes her work for it. And the second she starts chasing your attention instead of receiving it on demand, it's done. She's yours.
You can't expect us to be wifey material for someone that doesn't deserve it.
Automatically wrong.
Okay. You can't give your best to someone that doesn't deserve it. So you expect me to give my all and give my best to someone?
I expect you to appreciate the men that built the world around you that allow you to be able to live in a first world country. The entitlement you guys have. The reason the dating market is the way it is today is because women have a free market system. Your great-grandmother's generation didn't have the problems modern women had. You're the most educated, the freest, the most liberated group of women that ever lived, and you're the most unhappy at all. Why? Because one, nuclear rejections, so entitled. In college today, the average man sitting in college with a woman knows that that woman wants a man making 6 figures. They can't even date because today young women don't want men who are making average money.
Oh, that's the one. I'm looking for a man in finance.
That's the one.
Trust fund. 6'5"?
Exactly.
Blue eyes, yeah.
And I remember someone put those stats into a calculator of if you were to calculate these stats of how many men who were like that would be available. And I remember if you put in whether you want a guy over 6 foot over 50k a year, which is a good wage, but like nothing crazy, but that's what the average girl wants, is a guy with 50k in terms of a salary per year. And then obviously you want him to be single. Even just those statistics times together, when you times the decimals together and then extrapolate it as a percentage, guess what percent of men that is?
Go on.
Is what, less than 1%. I think it's 1.05%. So that doesn't account for their age. It doesn't count for like physical attractiveness, whether they're obese or like, you know, these preferences, or whether they're a smoker or any of that sort of stuff. So before you even start, like on the female side, it's like, well, if you want a guy who's 6 foot, who earns a decent wage and obviously is available, you're talking like 1%.
Good boy.
That was the only right move by that man, because this is my theory. My theory, I can tell by the tone of her voice that it was very unnatural for her to say good boy to this man. This man is not used to that. He is probably used to being the one to say good girl, if you know what I mean. Like, there's certain dynamics in a relationship. Both dynamics can work, but I don't think that this was the natural course of things for her to say good boy. Now, for whether it was for the video to post on social media, it probably was, or if it was some sort of like relationship test, I think that both are possible. And if you guys are getting this in your real life, it's probably not for a video. That woman that's doing this to you, she's testing you. And if I know anything about you guys, you do not like to be tested. Hence, again, why his reaction is golden. Do not accept it. However, the beer didn't deserve it.
The fact that I keep seeing posts from males talking about they not chasing no woman, they not doing no chasing. If she ain't chasing, like, we are doomed. Do y'all understand that? Do y'all know that men hunt? They're the hunters. Like, when I see a man say that he's not gonna chase nobody, I instantly think rainbow. Like, y'all want a woman to chase you? Y'all want us to hunt y'all? Like, he who finds. Like, come on, man. We are doomed. And when I say chase, I mean pursue. Like, that's all.
I don't think modern women actually believe that it behooves them to work with a man, to cooperate with a man. A lot of times they're talking about, I want to be in my soft girl era. Well, you can probably do that if you work with a man. And what I mean by working with a man is, you know, he's got a vision. He's got a plan. And so he's probably going to be, when you're talking to him, especially on the dates, he's calculating all of that in his brain. And he's going to say, okay, this is how I can help. Or, you know, maybe we can help each other. And he's working out a deal, a package for you to say, okay, let's be teammates. Let's be partners. But a lot of modern women don't really understand how a man's brain works. So when a man is talking to them, they're thinking that the man is actively working against them, and they start fighting back.
Is it a recession indicator that men keep asking me to go on walks for first dates?
No, because I know this has gotten lost somewhere along the way, but first dates were never about seeing how much money a person can spend on the other person. First dates are about getting to know the other person.
I'm not even talking about like, oh, let's get a coffee and go for a walk. I'm straight up talking about like, let's go for a walk. And that is the first date.
And what's wrong with that? That seems to be a perfectly reasonable way to be able to get to know someone in a very low pressure atmosphere setting so that you can actually tell if there's some possible chemistry or even a future there.
I don't mind going for a walk. I like a walk, but I've never in my life had this many men ask me to go on a walk for a first date. Could this be a recession indicator? Can we not afford coffee or drinks or dinner? I'm just asking.
No, I would say that it's more of an indicator of a lot of men waking up to their own actual worth in regards to their position in the dating game. After all, why spend a lot of money on someone that they might never see again, especially if they don't actually form some kind of connection? A simple, low-cost date is the best way in order to be able to filter out those that are just in it for the money.
The majority of guys seem to just like have given up I also think too, there's a little bit of a desperate energy coming from
that's
people.
what happens when that's
ugh.
what I'm saying. It's a snowball effect. Like you have a positive relationship, a girl likes you back, you suck at first, you get better at it, like confidence improves, like all of a sudden her friend wants to bang you, confidence improves, like things happen, right? Like, you know, you go down the road and eventually like you develop more confidence through your experience and this and that. But like if your alternative is like, oh, this girl shot me down, I'm gonna go smoke weed, jerk off, and play video games, and that becomes your default setting, then like where the f- are you in a year if you do that for 1 year? Now you're a year out of the game, like you're less confident, you're in worse shape, you're probably ADD is firing through the roof, your dopamine receptors are saturated. It's like, where are you at, right? And it's like it gets progressively worse and worse. Like at what point do these guys just give up? Because like after 2 years, what's 2 years and one more day of not having sex, right? Like it gets to a point where, and so yeah, you just have a whole bunch of the society that's basically like withdrawn from.
Do you know why I say it's all men?
Do tell. How are we going to rationalize generalizing an entire population of people today?
Because the men that are like, it's not all men, they always prove that they're part of the problem.
So some men are showing that they're problematic. What a novel revelation that must be. But most reasonable people actually do understand that there are problematic individuals in every demographic. Although what those individuals do understand that others seem to not is that just because there are some members of the group that act in a certain way that makes the rest of them look bad doesn't mean that it's justifiable to generalize that entire demographic. For instance, there are some women that do not seem to know how to form a rational and logical argument. However, that does not mean it's a justification to say that all women are irrational and overly emotional. See how that works? So if you can't say that you would justify generalizing all women based on the actions of some, why exactly would you justify generalizing all men?
Why do you think men and women are not dating anymore?
Because
yes,
Men are?
men are silly.
Men are silly?
Yeah. Some men, some.
Okay.
And I think some women at times, but mainly men.
Do you guys get approached by men lately?
In a weird, strange way, but you just have to ignore, so...
Right.
Yeah.
But if you don't get approached, then you wouldn't date?
In what way?
So, let's say the man approaches you.
It depends. No,
So what you're saying is that you are not getting approached in a very nice way?
It's in the way that they'd approach me.
So how would you like a man to approach you?
In a nice way.
To give him a chance?
To give me,
not in
like,
a creepy way, in a complimented way. Like, as in, like, that they appreciate
gesture.
you. A romantic gesture.
I'm okay. Thank you, though.
That's a nice way.
Yeah, like,
That's nice.
Lovely.
That's lovely.
Not too forward, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if they're too forward, it's a bit like, whoa, like,
Calm
you're
down.
stepping the mark. But if not, then it's like, oh, yeah, that's quite nice, but...
Let's talk about making your man lunch for work. And no, this is not about, well, I work too, why doesn't he make me lunch? Girl, pause, wrong video. We are not talking about keeping score. We're talking about keeping connection. I pack his lunch because I like knowing he's out there with a little reminder of me. And when he opens it and sees his favorite snack or a note that says, can't wait for later, trust me, the man's not just thinking about food anymore. It's not about old school gender roles either. It's about making each other feel wanted, even when apart. And let me tell you, small things such as this, they build the kind of intimacy that lasts. So ladies, don't let the fairness police get in your head and ruin the vibe. Sometimes it's about setting the mood before he even walks through the door. And sometimes it's just about having a little fun, making sure you are the best part of his break.
I am in shock. I am in disbelief. I just, tell me why. This man gonna give me the biggest reality check. This man gonna invite me out, right? And I couldn't go. And usually when I be telling him no, he be getting a little bit in his feelings. And I would expect nothing less if you actually get, you feel me? Anyway, that's just my opinion. But, so I had to tell him no. So I text him back, talk about, oh, I can't, I know you finna be upset or whatever. He responds and says, nah, it ain't that deep. Since when? Since when ain't it that deep? And so I'm like, quit playing with me. You know you be getting mad when I be telling you no. He gonna say, we ain't reached a point where you're worth getting that mad for.
Rejected.
I mean, you're right, but God, like, God. And when I tell you, I stared at that text for minutes. For minutes, my jaw on the floor. He politely told me, baby girl, you are not that important. He said, you are not worth me stressing over. Wow.
You know, modern women, for a long time, thought they were getting away with bad behavior. I'm just going to continue to do bad stuff. And for a little while they did. Because that's, you know, I'll say that's how the men were trained. To, that's just how it is. Right? You know, that's just the way she acts. And they let you go off of foolishness. But now, even though the men are trained, it's like, well, that's how women are. Even though they're socialized to say, well, that's just how women are. They now say, well, even though that's the way they are, I don't have to sit up here and take it. I don't have to sit up here and be beat on and hit on and people, she talking to me crazy and talking to me sideways. I don't have to sit up here and take that. I can leave. I don't have to continue paying for this. Absolutely not. This date's over. Oh, and by the way, find your own way home. You could have been at least been a gentleman and taking me home. No, I don't. Find your own way home. I'm not doing that anymore. And modern women are stunned. They're shocked that men would ever do something like that.
Can we talk about one of the hardest things in marriage? It's not the chores, it's not the bills, and it's not agreeing on what movie to watch on Netflix. It's apologizing when you are still hurting. It's choosing to still show love when you aren't feeling all that loved yourself. And listen, I know everything in you wants to shut down, pull away, wait for them to make the first move. But the truth, that's the moment when love matters most. Marriage isn't about waiting until it's easy. It's about leaning in when it's hard. When you are in a tough season or fresh off of an argument, that's when an I'm sorry or a simple act of love can break the cycle. Not because you are perfect, not because they are perfect, but because you both choose to show up, even when it's messy. So yes, marriage takes work, but dang, the rewards, that kind of love hits different.
Why is being a big girl in a friend group on a night out such an exhausting experience? I went out last night with my friend, and all of my friends are 10 out of 10s, which I love for them and I love for me also. And it was so alarming to me how many men would come up to my friend trying to holler at her and completely ignore me. And this is not a new experience. Like, I've experienced this multiple times, but it just alarmed me because I don't be going out like that. And I'm like, wow, people are still acting like this? Like, really? In 2024, the year of our Lord? And it's such an interesting tactic because I don't need you to entertain me. A simple hello introduction is fine, but completely ignoring my existence is just very odd to me. And it's a very interesting approach. It's do you think this is getting you brownie points with my friend? What? Because if it was me and you completely ignored one of my friends, it's a wrap. I'm never speaking to you. But when guys do that, I hold a grudge for life. Even if this goes somewhere, I will never acknowledge your existence in my entire life. I will stand on business till I and never speak to you again. You couldn't speak to me at first jump. I will never speak to you again, truly. And I'm so glad that I have done work to just become more secure in myself because I know I looked good as last night. Nobody can tell me otherwise, but I know back in the day, that would not have been the case. I would have felt so insecure. I would have felt so down about myself and been oh my God, what does this mean? It doesn't mean anything. It just means that people are. And I just hate that this is an experience that so many of us have to go through just because we are not what people are attracted to. It's weird. Honestly, it's odd. But what can we do?
Have you you ever been upset about something, so you bring it up to your husband, but his response isn't what you were hoping for? Here's the thing. Sometimes it's not that he doesn't care. Sometimes it's just bad timing. If he's prepping for work, distracted by a project, or expecting people to show up any minute, it's not the right moment to bring up something heavy. I know it feels like you are getting it off your chest, but if there's no time or space to actually work through it, it's just going to feel like a end. And that irritation you might see from him, don't misread it as him not valuing you or the problem. It might just mean his head is somewhere else already. So what do? You ask him to pick a time in the next day or two when you can actually sit down and talk about it. That way, you know he knows that it matters to you, and you can go into it with both of you present and ready. Because timing really is as important as the words you choose.
Women need to stop telling men to approach as if it's so easy. When you tell men to approach, you are asking them to get rejected a consistent amount. Saying, why aren't men approaching? Where are the real men? As if putting yourself through that is easy is really annoying, and most guys just tune that out. And I get it. From a woman's perspective, a guy coming up does seem easy and effortless because he made it that way and you like him. And if you don't like him, it's just inconvenience. I was at the mall one day and I met this girl and I went up to her and I complimented her eyes. She was gonna get something to eat. I offered to join her. We went to a restaurant. She ended up being a flight attendant and she had a hotel nearby, and we ended up going back to her hotel, and you can imagine what happened. From her perspective, she just sees a guy that's confident, that comes up to her, leads the conversation, leads her to the restaurant, and ultimately leads her back to her place, where then we have a good night. From her perspective, it looks easy and effortless. But what she didn't see was before I talked to her, I talked to 3 other girls, all of whom rejected me, some of them pretty brutally. What she didn't see was before I went and talked to her, I had seen her previously and I pussied out because of those 3 rejections, and I had to muster up the courage to go talk to her. She didn't see the hundreds of rejections before that where women didn't want to talk to me. She didn't see the multiple ghosts I had to go through when I got a number and the girl didn't respond, or the girl flaked on a date. You get what I'm saying? I had an idea for a video where I was going to count how many approaches I had to do before I landed a date. Do you want to know what number I got to before I stopped counting? 71. And that's just before I stopped counting. So I have to ask the woman here, how many would you go up to before you stop trying? And then maybe you'll understand what the guys are going through.
You know what's funny is that a lot of these modern women are giving dating advice, but their dating lives are a disaster, to be honest. They're a disaster. These modern women, their dating life is not good. It's not good. You don't want to be around these women. These women, they keep on going on first dates and they don't get anything else out after it. I'm looking for a companion. Women going on 50 first dates. Women going on a date for every month, or for every day, I think is what I heard at one point in time. Every day of every month is crazy work. Is crazy work. Just out here. Well, you know, I'm doing it for research purposes. No, you're doing it as some sort of weird challenge. And modern women will get to the end of that challenge and beat and found nobody. And this is why body count matters. Because that's reckless behavior. And I'm not saying that you're sleeping with any of these guys. I'm just saying this is the type of mindset that men are looking for when they ask you what your body count is. Because you'll go out there and just do it for the plot. I'll go out here and mess with this man for the plot. I'll go out here and be with this guy or do this for the plot. I'll go out here and be out all times of day and night for the plot. I don't like that plot. I don't like that storyline. I don't like where that's going. Pass.
Your best friend proposed to his girl after 2 years.
Yes.
That means he loves her more than you love me because we've been together for 5 years.
So
you haven't proposed.
He loves her more than I love you because he proposed first?
Not because he proposed first, he proposed after 2 years.
Anybody else notice the psychology here, or is it just me? Instead of evaluating her relationship on its own terms, she imports expectation from somebody else's milestone. Crazy. Dude says him and his best friend are doing the same things. They're fixing the car, they're living together, they're paying all the bills, but somehow the best friend loved his girl more because he proposed. Now, she did say that she fears that something might happen to him, and I can understand that. But when you measure his love based on how quickly he proposes, that raises some questions. In modern society where divorce is normalized and men can lose so much financially, I'm sorry, I cannot blame him for being hesitant or not even wanting to do it at all. But I don't think that he loves you less simply because he hasn't proposed.
What she's saying is that men used to be manly, they aren't anymore. By what metric? That's my question. By what metric? What are your definitions of manly? And what does this being manly include? See, when having these conversations, it's real easy to be like, men aren't men anymore. Men aren't providers and leaders anymore. By what metric? It's easy to say that because it sounds good, right? But when people want to have the conversation, I always go, and what I always find is that people struggle with this when I go, define it. What is your definition, right? And I don't even care about the actual definition. What's your definition of this? What is a manly man to you? Because in my opinion, I think men are more manly today than they were before. And that's because I feel like men are actually more human now than they were before, right? But I hear it all the time when people go, oh, men aren't this and men aren't that. And I'm like, they want to say that without using any nuance, without using context. So my question is, what is a manly man to you and anyone else who wants to answer the question? And what does that entail? Because then we can start having the conversation, right? Like, for example, I had a woman say, men aren't men anymore. They don't provide and lead anymore. And I said, well, provide what? And every time it's like, well, financially, they don't pay the bills anymore. I'm like, okay, but what are your bills? Because before, the bills were just like, hey, food in the fridge, roof over the head. You know, families had like one car. You know, they didn't go on 4 vacations a year. They went maybe 1. You know, they had hand-me-down clothes and stuff. What are we talking about providing? You know, and then at the same time, though, they'll say, well, the economy ain't what it used to be. Like, everyone's struggling. Everything's so expensive. Men make more money today than they did before, but the economy, even making more money, the economy is so expensive. People are struggling. But then we'll be like, men aren't providing anymore. It's like, is it because they don't want to be? Or is it because maybe there's something against them that wasn't against the, people before, the generations before? Like, you see what I'm saying about context and like nuance? And then of course the woman is like, I'm like, okay, so like, and I'm like, you're saying things that it sounds good, but when you break it down, like, what are we talking about? You know what I mean? Oh, well, happy Easter.
After building a career on making men think that she cared about them just to reach 1 million followers, turn around and say, "F you men, I actually don't like you at all." This has now garnered 8 million man-hating women, because that's just all of her content. Well, she popped out with a man. She got engaged, and now she's shocked and dazed and confused as to why her giant following of man-hating women aren't with her fiance. Why they're all on her now. I'm sorry, you built an entire following on women who are bitter, angry, and lonely, and then you're wondering why they're not clapping for you now that you're no longer bitter, angry, and lonely? Also, can we just call out the men who date man-haters like Drew Afalo for like what they actually are, which is just cucks. Like, you're the biggest cuck. You know that your woman despises your entire gender, and you think that you're good enough? You think you're different? This is like when girls date misogynists, and they're like, yeah, he hates women, but I'm special. You're not special. You're an idiot. Congratulations. Hating on men for your entire career has done one of 2 things. Actually, both things. Number 1, they've made the man-haters hate your husband, and they've made the women who don't even hate men hate your husband, because how desperate do you have to be with somebody like her? This relationship isn't gonna last. I don't think they're even gonna make it to marriage, and if they do, they will get divorced. This is my prediction right now.
Why didn't you marry his father? I didn't marry his father. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. That was my decision. I was younger at that time, and that's still not.
Why didn't you marry his father?
I didn't want him.
But you had a baby with him. This is the problem. See, you're a woman outside of anybody's leadership. You didn't marry a father. You had a baby before you had a wedding. That's already a problem. Then he wanted to marry you. You didn't want to marry him. And then you're trying to raise a boy. And then you're going to question why men are what they are. Women like you make the very men you complain about.
Absolutely.
So don't ask me about why men aren't holding men accountable when this all starts with women like you. That's the problem. You have women who are quicker to have a baby than become a wife.
I'd never thought that.
But you're moving that way. The net of it is you create the very men you have an issue with.
Absolutely.
And it's your responsibility, not the men. Women are the first teachers of culture. You're under no male leadership. And I'm sorry, based upon this call, this is who you are. And who is going to try to fight you for control of your household and that boy? They will say, she's for the streets, and keep it moving.
Can someone explain to me why on earth men are so good at just so many random things? Like, why are men able to fix anything? Why are men able to do anything? Like, I don't understand why they're just so good at so many things. Me as a woman, I have my limitations. I'm good at some things, but I can't fix something. I can't find a solution to something. I'm not able to help someone in a situation where they have a problem as easily as I've noticed men are able to help people with that. Like, it's crazy. And the worst thing is they're not just able to do it, like they will do it. They actually care so much, even if you're not important to them, quote unquote, they are gonna be there and they're gonna help you fix a problem. Men are great. Some men are really great.
It's because he has been pushed to be totally self-sufficient since birth. Because if he didn't learn how to fix it himself, it wouldn't be fixed by anybody. And then he'll be blamed for it not being fixed. No one will do it for him simply because he's cute. This is what a lot of women don't understand, because men are logical thinkers and they actually like to figure out how to fix things. They like to know a lot of random things. Like, I can tell you, even with having an 8-year-old son, he is already falling into this. Like, he gets into phases of learning all about dinosaurs, sharks. He knows every single one of them out there. And now he is talking about the bloop and the El Gran Maha, like some sort of sea monster. These are things that I never knew about. He's teaching me. My point is that men already enjoy these things because they're good at it. And then on top of that, we have the pressure from society and from women for men to know these things and to fix things. And that is because men's value is based on how useful he is. And that is the part that men just want to be appreciated for.
Be so for real. Why are there so many women on this post saying silent repost or expressing their disappointment when their husband is texting them and not their sneaky link? Make that make sense. Y'all claim that you want these healthy relationships, that you want to be in partnerships long term, but this is how you treat the men that you're in partnerships with? And then you can't understand why he's mad, why he's angry, maybe why he's drinking too much, why he feels alone, why he's unhappy with you. And most of y'all will come online and say all men are cheaters, that 50% or whatever the percentage of men that cheat, but y'all never want to talk about that there's women involved in that cheating. Y'all never want to talk about your part in anything. All you're going to do is come online and be a victim to your situation because, let me guess, he's narcissistic, he's a and it's the same old story every single time, but the part that you fail to mention is the part where you've been cheating literally the entire time. So these women get to be pieces to men and it's always the man's fault, but when she fucks up, it's still his fault for not being emotionally available or in tune with her emotions or whatever dumb to basically avoid accountability that women tell themselves. And let's be so for real, we all know how it goes. She'll become a single mother and then she'll be crying online about how no men want to date single mothers, even though she created this entire situation in the first place. And now it's all the man's fault for not wanting to date her, for not being emotionally in tune, for not being there for her. And, you know, he is the reason that she cheated and she ruined the entire family dynamic. And it's no wonder that so many men have checked out of relationships. They've checked out of marriages because literally the reward is just not worth the risk. Okay, bye.
And a lot of these modern women, they like to keep their options open. Like I said, I was talking to a woman the other day, or I was responding, and kudos to her for taking accountability. Kudos to her for taking accountability. She said, I wanted to see how things went, because you never know. But yeah, you're right. I should have, the man that I liked, I knew I liked him. I should have stayed with him, and I should have canceled the date and let that man save his money. You never know, but I should have done that. So kudos to you for taking accountability. But a lot of these modern women, they don't. They sit up and waste a man's time. Oh, I got options. I'm in here. I'm in there. I'm with this guy. I'm with that guy. I got a roster. All these other nonsense situationships. Buckle down and pick the guy that you like. Period. I mean, man, you got guys going out here, and if you know you're going to date this guy and date that guy, what's wrong with going to coffee? I'm trying to get to know you to see if I like you. Let that man spend $10, $15, maybe even $20 and get out of Dodge if you don't like him. I mean, shoot, we got to start making dating for everybody. It's got to be attainable and achievable for everybody. But modern women acting the way they act, it ain't but a few can do it. High value, quote unquote, high value men, really honestly high earning men that make a lot of money. Oh yeah, man, we can go here, we can go there. And then that man not going. If that man has that kind of cachet, you have to play by his rules. You don't want to do that. So let's play by some other rules. Let's compromise. Where you get what you want, and I get what I want. How's that sound?